Big picture here today, buddy. Big picture. Just be nice and smooth here. This podcast covers all things motorsports. It's unfiltered, it's unfast, and
You can do whatever the Hyundai you want.
I love having that in there.
We are back for episode 26. Let the drivers hit the floor.
Let the drivers hit the floor.
Yeah,
I like the name.
I do too.
So, this is your first time to hear the new intro? Did you like the new intro?
I love the new intro.
I love having Jay's voice at the end of it.
I mean, I know Hyundai might get a hold of us for that, but still, I like the intro.
Nah, there's no company called Hyundai. I don't believe it.
Yeah, there is.
Nah, it's Hyundai.
Yeah, here it is. It's Hyundai. Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Jay?
So we've got the Singapore Grand Prix this weekend, finally. So we're going to be doing a preview of that.
Okay.
GT America Series, the GT World Challenge America M4 Series. We're in Sebring, Florida this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that.
They can go boat racing if they're in
Yeah.
Sebring, Florida this week.
No kidding.
Hurricane Ian is, I've never met a strong person named Ian, but it's coming in with a force.
Cali Rovanpera is going to be trying to seal up the Rally Championship in New Zealand on
Nice segue out of my hurricane talk.
what is one of the most beautiful courses in Rally. And then we have just general motorsports news we're going to cover tonight.
Okay. Well, it feels good to be back face to face with Jay. I know you guys are watching this on the video, but
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks we've been trying a new system and it works really well, but we just can't see each other. So
Right.
now we can see each other and
Yeah.
I can rib you and give you a hard time right here in front of you. It's a lot better.
True.
Okay, where are we going first?
Let's talk about the Singapore Grand Prix.
All right, Singapore Grand Prix.
This
One of my favorite tracks.
this will be the first time they've been back to Singapore since 2019.
So I didn't realize that until you put it on here.
Yeah.
Did they skip because of COVID?
Yeah. It was COVID driven.
The last couple of years has all been COVID driven?
Yeah. Singapore was like, nope, you're not coming here.
Really?
Yeah.
There are a lot more shut down in the United States and everywhere else, huh?
Well, there's like 75 million people there. So it's
In a 1 mile square block.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So anyway, it's going to be a great race. It's one of the few night races. It's definitely one of the few night races that has the potential to rain, and I mean rain heavy.
Yeah.
It rained in 2017. So it's a weird race from a time standpoint because they're doing it at 8:00 p.m. local time in
Yeah.
Singapore. So
So what time are we
us,
watching it here?
7 a.m. if you live in Oklahoma.
Dude, there is nothing better than getting, let me paint you a picture, Jay. There is
Do it.
nothing better than getting up at the crack of dawn
Right.
or 7 a.m., getting your coffee,
Yeah.
your pancakes,
Yeah.
and watching a good F1 race. I mean, you have the F1 race watched by 9:15.
Yeah.
Watch the post-race show, 9:30, 9:40.
Still got the rest of your
You
day.
still got the rest of the day to watch
Absolutely.
NFL football. I mean, that's a great day right there.
Yeah. So to the rest of our millions of fans around the world, make sure you adjust your clocks accordingly.
Yeah.
To Singapore time, 8:00 p.m. there.
And he jokes of the millions of fans around the world. I mean, we've hit a bunch of countries.
Yes, we have.
When we got Japan the other day, I about fell on the floor.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that one even took you by surprise, I
It
think.
did.
I didn't know if you had any friends in Japan that were listening to us.
I have some family in-laws. Do you call it family in-laws? I got some in-laws, and I got a couple friends that live over there. So,
Well, maybe that's who it was.
yeah.
Hi, Jay's friends in Japan.
Yeah, no kidding. So anyway, let's talk about the circuit a little bit
Okay.
at Singapore. It's very low average speed because of the fact that there's
7 million turns.
I think it's 23. I'll get to that in a minute.
There's a lot of them.
Just 4 drivers have had victories at the 12 Singapore Grand Prix.
Wow.
All the 12 Singapore Grand Prix, only 4 drivers have ever won it.
Wow.
So, Sebastian Vettel has won 5 of the 12.
Can he get a win in Aston Martin this weekend?
He can't do it in Aston Martin. I wish.
Be awesome, wouldn't it?
That'd be great. He won the last one in 2019.
No. Where was he at in 2019?
Ferrari, him and Leclerc.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was there. I didn't realize Leclerc had been there that long. I
Yeah.
thought he got there in 2020 for some reason.
No, 2019.
Wow.
So Lewis Hamilton has 4 wins. Fernando Alonso has 2, and Nico, the prima donna Rosberg, has 1 win.
Nico, the prima donna Rosberg.
So he's got 1 there in 2016.
Okay.
Interesting facts. The safety car has made at least 1 appearance in every Singapore Grand Prix.
Well, good grief. That hard 90
Yeah.
degree turn back on its, actually, it's like a back on itself turn. I wreck there every time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Turn 1 at speed. So when they come around for lap 2,
Turn 1.
turn 1 and 2.
It's that hard turn. You turn to the left,
It's
right
a
there.
chicane, like
yeah.
a little
It's like a weird
lazy ass.
chicane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right there at the pit exit, right?
Plus, those curbs are totally humped over, so there's going to be some carnage there, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez were driving for Force India
Yeah.
in the pink BWT car.
Okay.
Perez, they were both at risk of losing their seat because they were bringing in a different driver. And so Perez just put Ocon in the wall
For real?
coming out of turn 2.
That's funny.
Towards the straight stretch. So
I like it.
if you can go back and watch that footage, you should. I think that was 2018, but go back and pull it if you can.
Perez
find
wasn't
it.
going to lose that seat. Huh? He's
Yeah.
going to make sure he kept his ride.
So while this is a great viewing for the fans and it's fun to drive if you're driving it virtually, driving it in real life apparently is absolutely brutal. We've talked about this. They will lose up to 3 kilograms of fluids.
For us American folk, how many pounds is 3 kilograms?
And I'm just ballparking off the top of my head, but it'll be close, 7 to 8 pounds probably.
Can you imagine losing
Yeah.
that much? I mean, you talk about losing that much in a couple of hours.
Yeah,
And I mean, I can gain that much at lunch with no problem.
true.
But I can't imagine losing that much in a couple of hours.
Anyway, there's 1,600 custom made. It was 6.64 pounds, so I was close.
Pretty close.
1,600 custom made floodlights.
To light that. Now, this is a city circuit, right?
Yeah.
How'd you like to have an apartment right there where those floodlights are?
I wouldn't.
Be terrible.
But they're 4 times brighter than a regular sports stadium. So think of the brightest sports stadium at night that you know of, and then
Go 4 times.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
crazy.
So the other things, Red Bull has more podiums than Ferrari and Mercedes combined at this course. But here's my thing with that. While I gave that as a good stat, and I'd like it noted that I'm the one that brought this stat up, is I'm not a huge Red Bull fan. But their cars already has those years. It was already geared for Monaco. They even said,
Yeah,
Christian
because
Horner said we
they
always
want to be
gear our-
very
yes,
Yeah. So
maneuverable.
this year though, they're not, right?
They're not. That's which I think is good for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good for the entire field that's not
Yeah.
Red Bull. I
Yes,
mean, I think it's
correct.
good for everybody else.
And also Ferrari and Mercedes this year have done well at all the tight courses. So
Okay.
I'm not going to say,
I think this is Leclerc's race. I'm going to be honest.
okay, well, here's the thing.
If I had to go out on a limb, I think I would pick Charles Leclerc this week.
Yeah, it'd probably be a good move. You know who has the lap record at
Who?
Singapore? Kevin Magnussen.
Really?
Yeah,
K-Mag.
141.9.
I like that.
And the most recent, we talked about this, most recent race there was 2019. The podium was Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen.
That's a good podium.
Yeah, Ferrari, Red Bull.
I think this year it'll be. Can we do predictions sure to go wrong kind of thing, like a Mike and Mike?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I think it's Leclerc, Verstappen, George Russell. I don't know about George Russell. I got a weird.
Wow,
I got a weird look.
shocker.
I got a weird look over there.
well, every podium has been, some combination of Verstappen.
Well, I'm picking Leclerc to win.
Okay.
Can I get some kind
Yeah.
of something for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Good
in
grief.
shock that you're doing that at all. But yeah, I would like to see Leclerc win this thing.
Of course you
Um,
would.
I don't think Perez is going to do that great. He's not historically good here at all.
No,
So
I don't think so either.
Hamilton's pretty good here.
Well, yeah. How many races he won here?
4.
4. Yeah.
And he's still, racing in the same car that he won the 4 in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He'll be legit here.
yeah. So it should be, well, it's not technically the same car because they've got,
I
brand
mean,
new cars
Mercedes,
this year.
but
So
yeah.
that's another thing. It'll be interesting to see how these new cars, and we say that every week because every
Yeah.
week it's new.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
it's first time on the track every
Yeah.
time. So
So Max can seal the championship this weekend, but he needs very specific things to happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the FIA stewards for the conspiracy theorists out there.
gosh, I mean, we made it 5 minutes and we're already 10 full heading.
Yeah. So if he wins the race with the fastest lap,
Yep.
26 points, and Leclerc comes in 8th or worse,
Okay.
Verstappen clinches the title.
Man.
If he wins the race without fastest lap and Leclerc comes in 9th or worst,
Okay.
he clinches the title. Or if Christian Horner greases the pockets of the FIA stewards as usual, then he will clinch the championship this weekend.
I mean, if Leclerc's running well
yeah,
and their team doesn't make any bonehead mistakes, which they do, he's not going to clinch it this week. Because, I mean, Leclerc's a top 5 car.
well, everybody's
I mean-
picking Japan,
You know,
so plus
Um,
he would join elite company if he did clinch it this weekend.
what's the early? Is this the earliest it's ever been clinched?
No, Michael Schumacher did it with 6 races to go.
How many's for 5 right now?
Yeah, he'll tie Nigel Mansell from 10 years before Schumacher if he gets it this weekend.
What are names I don't know for 500, Alex?
Yes, Nigel Mansell. I'll take Esa Pekka-Lapi.
I should have put that on the
Yeah.
new intro.
Yeah, no kidding.
Why did I not put that on the new intro?
Yeah. So anyway, interesting.
That was for
stats
you,
this
Mike.
weekend. I think he can do it. This is weird. You're picking Ferrari, and this is a really, folks, for all of our avid listeners out there, for the 100 that are here in town and the millions from around the world, I typically am pro Ferrari, obviously, and then Chad is obviously pro whoever's at the top of the leaderboard, which is Red Bull. And this week we are flip flopping.
I didn't realize you were pro Ferrari till I walked in your bedroom and saw the bed set with the comforter and the headboard with the Ferrari and the pillows with the Ferrari and the Lego Ferrari. I mean, I always thought you were pretty unbiased until I walked in there.
Your Honor, can we have the judge strike the testimony for he was in my bedroom from the jury, please?
Can we edit that out?
Yeah.
Can we need to edit that out. I'm going to mark that
Can
clip
we
for editing later.
mark the clip for, yeah.
He was in my bedroom. That's what we're worried about
if
right
you end
now.
up-
Not your matching bed sheets that are Ferrari. No, it's that I was in your bedroom.
If you post that clip, please put it on like MySpace or Flickr, the ones that nobody uses anymore.
Okay.
Uh,
That'll definitely be on TikTok.
wow,
100%.
No.
Yes, Facebook Reels. You will see that clip. That will be the main clip that goes out for this to promote this episode.
Anyway, man, I don't have anything else from F1
Okay.
unless you do.
No, I mean, I saw Joe go on you, got his contract extension for next year. That's pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad he did. And I didn't realize until I read the article that he's been outperforming Bottas.
Yeah.
So, I kind of, oh, there's a spring over there I just hit. I get sucked into the leaders and what's going on. That was good timing too for what I just said.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bonk award. I watched the top 5 match,
Right.
kind of see, and I don't really pay attention to who comes in at the end. Because 11th through 20th doesn't matter to me
Right.
because there's no points. So I didn't realize that he had been outperforming. So that's kind of cool. And still no Danny Rick news for next year, other than
No.
he looks like he's going to be a reserve driver somewhere. I did see Colton Herta is not going to get his
No.
super license, which is crazy. So I don't know if that's going to keep Pierre Gasly from
It
going
is.
to Alpine.
He's still going to be at Scuderia
what's-
AlphaTauri.
What's going to happen to Nick DeVries?
Oh, I think he's taking Gotifi's spot.
You really, I mean, because there was a lot of talk that he may go to AlphaTauri.
Yeah, but again, I don't think they have an opening. I don't think they're going to fire Yuki Tsunoda.
Well, why won't they just let Pierre Gasly go where he wants? If you think Nick DeVries is better than Pierre Gasly, why not just let Pierre go and you bring in Nick DeVries?
Well, I don't think they think that at all. I think they just think Pierre Gasly wants a shot somewhere else outside of out from under the Red Bull umbrella.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I
So-
I didn't know. I mean, if you think, here's my opinion. If you think Nick DeVries can be the next Max Verstappen,
Right.
I think you go all in on him.
Right.
And let Pierre, because I mean, clearly they don't think Pierre Gasly is going to be the next Max Verstappen, right? Or they wouldn't have kicked him out of Red Bull.
I think it's already too late. I think if you're past 25 years of age,
You're
and
not that guy.
You're not Max Verstappen. You're obviously
Not
gonna
Max
be-
Verstappen.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't think that and you think, which they may not think Nick DeVries is, what do I know?
Yeah.
But if you think he is, I would be trying to do everything I could to get him in my
But I'm
my program.
going to tell you something, and I've said this before about Daniel Ricciardo, and it's the same for Pierre Gasly. They are as valuable off the track as they are on it.
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly interviews well. He's well spoken. He's a good ambassador for the brand.
Yeah.
He's a good ambassador for AlphaTauri and for Red Bull as well. And then you look at Ricardo's the same way. He's a guy that he's personable and approachable, and so is Pierre Gasly. And I think
Yeah.
they have a lot in common in that regard.
I'll never get over, sorry, this is off the subject, but Nick DeVries trying to get out of the car. He will forever be one of my favorite
Yeah.
drivers just because he's like, I can't get out of the car.
Yeah, I can't move my arms.
Somebody help me out of here. I can't move my arms.
Yeah,
All right. F1 in the books.
in the books.
What are we doing next?
So we have a big points race this weekend at the World Rally Championships in New Zealand.
Okay.
It's not for first place. Rovan Parra, I think, has got that sewn up.
How many races are left?
3,
3 races left.
including this one.
But he can lock it down this week, right?
He can
Yeah.
clinch he has to win.
Is there any other stipulations besides he has to win?
No. If he wins, he clinches. Period.
Okay.
Oitanic is close, but not close enough.
How's Santa Claus doing?
So if you look at Santa Claus,
Elfin Evans.
oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
I'll talk about that in just a second. But
If
so
he had a-
Rovin Perez,
if he had a beard, he would be my favorite racer ever. If he had a big white beard, Elfin Evans with the big white beard.
yeah, dude,
Come
he's
on.
like 19 or 20. He's really young. I'm
In
probably
my
getting that
mind,
wrong.
he is Santa Claus.
Yeah. So Rovin Perez at 207 points. Oitanic is at 154.
Okay.
He doesn't even have to win, dude. Well, there's 3 races left, so that's
Same
75,
points. Same points as
75
F1.
points up for grabs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
75 points up for grabs. Even if, let's say, Tanik wins out, 75 points puts him at 225, which, depending on what Rovin Perez does, Rovin Perez would have to basically come in last or DNF. So,
Okay.
anyway,
Here we go.
we only got 2. We got a Toyota, 2 Hyundais, and 1 other Toyota in the standings. But the rally kicks off on Thursday. They have a ceremony with a 1.4 super special stage, which is right in the city of the Center Park. They have not ran here for 12 years.
Really?
So it's again,
Probably 'cause it takes so
just
long
like
to get there.
Singapore, we have not ran this in a while.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be COVID.
right.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. Plus, they're outside. You know, plenty of space in between people, so it's not a social distancing issue.
Yeah.
The teams of WRC call this the rally of the year because it's such a dream to drive. It's loose gravel. They're wide sweeping turns.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really a fun course.
No house out and rock in and
Well, I'm sure there's still some of that. You got to have some of that. The guys
Yeah.
will fall asleep if you don't. But it's going to kick off. It's 17 stages, 277 kilometers, give or take. Kicking off with a 1.4 special stage on Thursday. Friday is more than half of the rally is covered on Friday. Saturday, there's a couple of different stages that are ran twice, probably once forward and once in reverse. And then, of course, they'll finish out on Sunday. So it's going to be a really, really good rally, I think. And, I put on here.
it'd be a big week of racing for you, man.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of races going on. New Zealand, Singapore.
Yeah. Well, that's actually it.
No
I think-
Fanatec GT or anything.
There is GT World Challenges had. We'll get there in a minute, though. We're not there right now. So I don't know what your thoughts are on the Esapeka Lapi is not running in this course. I downloaded the entrance list, the PDF today. He is not running in this rally.
Is it because of the New Zealand accent they can't say that word?
No, I think it's because the Sebs came back to run this weekend.
Did they take the Seb spot?
Yeah, I think Lapi is a reserve.
Oh,
Which-
so why?
Which makes the argument for what I made last week, where when I was talking about Lapi, and I was like, he thinks he deserves a seat for next year.
Yeah.
But OJ, and I think it was Seb OJ, he was like, "Look, I'm running the rest of the rallies this year. I'm in for the." long
But
run."
didn't you say they're older, right? The
Yeah.
Sebs are older.
yeah, they'll be
Okay.
gone soon.
Okay.
Not permanently gone. I'm sorry, that sounded insensitive.
Hey,
They'll
fly
just-
high,
they'll-
Angel.
they'll just be retired. Okay. So anyway, looking forward to the rally this weekend. It should be fun to watch.
Okay.
And that's really all I had on it, unless Evans, and I'll get to it on podiums and back marker. He's in 4th place, but here's where it's interesting. That's really the only race. Neuville could potentially catch Tanik if Tanik has a bad rally, but Neuville and Evans is where to watch
For the
because-
3rd and 4th.
Yeah, 3rd and 4th, because they've
Okay.
already flip flopped twice, so it could potentially happen again here this
So
weekend.
Rovin Perez pretty young, right?
Yeah,
Evans pretty young. You said he's like
Evans is
19,
way-
20.
Well,
Okay.
he's probably 20, 21.
Is he the future of the sport? Like, is
Yeah, I
this the
think
guy?
so. I
Like-
think so. I'm biased, so it's not a fair question to me.
Yeah.
So
What are Tanik and Neuville?
they're like that. They're like that mid range.
Okay, so they're not in their prime.
Yeah,
prime,
I'll have their ages next week for us, but I'm telling you, they're probably in their mid 20s to late 20s.
which is crazy that we're talking about that being right at your prime, past your prime kind of thing. you know,
It's like tennis. You're 17. You're getting senior citizen coffees
yeah.
at Wimbledon.
it's like gymnastics and all that. Yeah. So okay, so really for the next few, and the reason I asked that is for the next few years, it's going to be a Rovin Perez, Elfin Evans
Yeah,
fight. I mean, this is who this is going to be. These two.
which is great because they're teammates.
Oh wow, I don't think I realized
Yeah,
that.
they're teammates.
Okay,
So
I like that.
And here's the thing too, and of course I don't know these guys. I'm not hanging out at the rally stages, but they seem like genuine, down to earth dudes, man.
Yeah.
They call it like they see it. Like even when the press team tries to get a rise out of them, they're very honest and both of them very honest and open.
It's cool.
You know, Tanik's one of those guys that if he's doing okay, he'll answer your questions if you're the press. But if he's not, he's like, yeah, it was bad. I'm out. And he's Kimi
Deuces, homie.
Räikkönen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
anyway,
All right, man. This is your show. Where are we going next?
we're going to the Sunshine State of Florida.
It is not the Sunshine State right now.
No kidding.
Landfall today.
But for one of the oldest tracks in the country, believe it or not, Sebring has celebrated 7 decades of racing.
God, that's pretty cool.
And while it's cool to say that out loud, it's horrible to say that, man, they might have needed to redo the track in the past 70 years.
Where is Sebring?
It should be right outside. I thought it was right outside of Orlando.
Okay. I don't. Is it on GT or anything, Gran Turismo? Or
I think
is
it's on ACC or Project Cars.
Okay.
If you got either one of those.
Because I've seen the name. I can see the
Yeah.
font that it's written in,
Yeah.
like in my head. But I don't know that I've ever raced the track.
But here's the thing: it's the probably bumpiest track in the U.S.
Okay.
I mean, if you watched it this weekend, those guys when they came out of turn one, they were literally the back
Really?
end of their car just jumping like crazy.
How crazy that'd be to drive. Like trying
It
to
wouldn't.
keep that stuff. It'd be terrible.
It was like a rally concrete course. But anyway, it was a good weekend as far as GT World Challenge, which is the GT3 level cars. And I'm only, guys, and I don't know if you know this, but when I cover the results, I'm only covering the premier class.
Okay.
So I don't cover Pro-Am and Am at all. I do talk about a little bit of Pro-Am on GT4 because 2 of my favorite teams are in GT4. But anyway, so this weekend for GT3 results, we had K-Pax Racing Lamborghini came in first and third. So good job to Beretta, Caldarelli, Goickberg, and Pepper. They racing for K-Pax in the Lamborghini. And here's another interesting fact, man, that we've never covered talking about GT racing. Unlike any other series, team owners can pick which car they want to run. I don't know if you knew that or not.
They can pick which car they want to run?
As far as per type of series. For instance, my favorite team is Flying Lizard Motorsports. And they do the 511 Tactical Aston Martin for GT4.
Okay.
But in Europe, they run the Lamborghini. And
So same team. They're not
they're not bound.
They're
by
not
a
manufacturer
car.
bound.
They can look at the series and go, we want to run a Lamborghini in this series because that's what's or an Audi or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So for instance, Flying Lizard runs Aston Martin, Lamborghini. They run Porsche. They've ran Audi before. So it's one of those weird series where you're not bound by a car manufacturer.
Okay.
Unless you're driving for the manufacturer team, which I don't think there's many of those left.
Gotcha.
In GT. But anyway, moving on.
I was just who got third there? Goickberg and Pepper.
Yeah,
I was just really excited that Pepper from Salt and Pepper had found another career and she's racing now. So I was really excited about that. It's always good to see the 90 stars when they find their second career.
Yeah,
just really excited about that for.
Well, here's an interesting question for you, and I haven't done the research for it, but there's a Jeff Burton that's driving in GT4 America.
It's not Jeff Burton though,
but it's not. I don't think it's. I don't know. I've never seen his picture, so and I don't follow that team. But it's just.
I
funny
bet it's
every
the
time.
same one. Has to be right.
Yeah, and he's not listed as Jeff Burton Jr., which would
no,
also,
that's his son is Jeb Burton.
Yeah,
and he's in NASCAR, but I don't know what he was in the Cup Series,
Right.
and I think he may be back in Nationwide now. I'm not 100% sure.
and
but-
there are some 45 to 52, 3-year-old drivers in GT World Challenge, so
Yeah.
it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I bet
don't-
it's Jeff Burton.
Yeah, but I haven't done the research on it.
He's our research guy's pulling up pictures right now to see who this is.
That is not Jeff Burton.
That's not Jeff Burton.
That's a different Jeff Burton.
That's not the same Jeff Burton. That's Wish.com's Jeff Burton.
Yeah, I would like to apologize to both Jeff Burtons at this point.
That's Wish.com.
Or any of the millions of Jeff Burtons around the world that we have gotten wrong.
That man has the whitest teeth I've ever seen in my entire life.
He does. That is not Jeff Burton from NASCAR.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So
not at all.
anyway, there is a Jeff Burton. Intermission. We're
How would you do that when I'm taking a drink?
pre-cut for intermission. Anyway, so Ferrari came in second place. So it was a Lamborghini for GT3 results this weekend.
I'm sorry for whoever's out there listening that just heard me almost die.
Yeah,
almost
true.
dying, trying to take a drink, and you start laughing like a maniacal idiot.
That is
And
Jeff Burton from NASCAR.
That's Jeff Burton from
Yeah.
NASCAR. Okay, I'm sorry, but I derailed the show. So go ahead.
Anyway, so again, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Lamborghini for the GT3 win. Interesting race. We have one race left. Guess where it is?
Where?
The Brickyard
The Brickyard.
at
I like it.
Indianapolis. Anyway,
I like the Brickyard.
here's the standings going into the final race.
Okay.
First place is out of control. It's at 216 points. They're going to win. But the second two teams, and that's K-Pax Racing. I don't want to not mention them. They're in first place, 216 points. U.S. Racetronics is at 126 points.
Okay.
And Turner Motorsports is at 121 points. So a win, just like F1, win gets you 25.
Yep.
So basically the same scoring
I think
format.
does everybody have the same scoring format except for
Pretty much.
NASCAR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only NASCAR is the
the weird ones.
I'm going to halt on the
That's
derogatory
fine.
comments, but so 5 points between those two teams. So that
That's a tight race,
second
man.
place shootout right there, man.
That's where your money is too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Constructors Cup. That's the money right there.
Well, think about that's another thing. There is no there is no drivers championship in GT World Challenge.
It's only constructors,
Yeah,
right?
because it's only one car.
Yeah.
You might have 4 drivers, but it's one car. So
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that. Yeah.
GT4 America at Sebring also this weekend. If you've been watching it at all, it's pretty much the same names you've heard a million times. So McAlaren Filgaris came in first in the RS1 Porsche. Noble and Hart, you realize you're on video now, so they can
Yeah.
see your facial expression.
Because here's the deal. You could be a soccer commentator.
Yeah.
You could be I have heard professional broadcasters not nail the names that you nail on a weekly basis.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
mean,
that as
like
a compliment.
that's an extreme compliment because
you.
you nail these names. Now, here's the only thing. There's my caveat to your
'Cause you
compliment.
don't know if I'm.
I have
pronouncing
no idea if you're
Right.
getting them right or not.
And I can tell you for a fact there have been a couple that I have said, and then I've went back and watched the race again or heard another announcer. But here's the thing. Like, for instance, if you're watching a European broadcast, Brits pronounce things different than we do sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's really no way to, I mean, it's up to interpretation unless you hear the guy say his own last name, right? So
Right.
it's one of those things. Anyway, so McAlaren Filgaris in the RS1 Porsche came in first place. We also had a Porsche in second, which is the NOLA Sport, which we've heard week in and week out.
That's, I'm guessing, New Orleans based.
Yeah, well, yeah. Noble and Hart running that thing, the 47. And then Conquest Racing, who's currently in first place. Stevens and Sanders driving for them in the AMG Mercedes. They came in third place this weekend. And if you look at the overall standings, again, we kind of have a small shootout between second and third.
Yeah, this one's not near as big of a shootout.
No, but here's the thing: that the weird thing about there's only like 4 teams in GT4 America right now.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I don't think they're gonna. They'd
There's
have
only
to come in
4 teams.
right. So Turner Motorsports is the only other team. So
How does a series survive with 4 teams?
well, they're down to their finals. It's almost like the other teams, if they know they don't have a shot, you're going to finish up 6 to 10.
So they just save their money and don't
Yeah.
race.
Prepare for next year.
That's kind of crazy.
And it's still a very like if you compared racing to movies, GT World Challenge is still very much the indie sport. And I know they don't want to hear that, and I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But they don't have the following, and it's sad they don't have the following that NASCAR and F1 and Rally, they don't have that following.
Gotcha. Are they relatively new? Are they young?
Not really. I mean, SRM.
They just never
Motorsports-
kind of caught on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, it's not that they've caught on everywhere pretty much. You need America to catch on, man. I hate to
Gotcha.
say that, but you do. We're the spectacle country. We want
Yeah.
the show.
We do want the show. We like
So-
a show. That's why we're doing so well. It's because we're the show.
Yeah. So anyway, before
We're the dance.
millions and millions of our fans tune off, we are moving away from GT World Challenge
Okay.
into motorsports news. So we got some little interesting tidbits, and the first one's for Mikey, because I know you called me out on Discord this week. And I was going to mention this, by the way. There's no way to prove that now, but I was going to mention this.
I'm going to go ahead and stop you for just a second
Okay.
because you called you out on Discord. If you want to interact,
Yeah,
get on the show. Find our Discord Fuel Pod.
correct.
I've nailed that like a month in a row.
You have.
Get on our Discord. That's the best way. I mean, Mikey called us out on something, and it made the rundown now, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, Jimmy Johnson to retire from IndyCar.
I thought he retired like a long time ago. Jimmy
Yeah.
Johnson still races?
Yeah, he's in IndyCar, but I think he decided to retire after he about put his Shelby Cobra at the Goodwood Festival into the wall, but we'll talk about that in a second.
I thought he was just running the safety car. He goes so slow out there. I thought he was just like
Yeah.
part of the safety car
Yeah,
crew.
well, his commercials are kind of not cool either, but I even forgot the company. Who's he doing? Allstate?
No free ads.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's retiring from IndyCar. That's really all I have to say about it.
Okay.
I mean, he was marginal at best, and I'm not taking anything away from him as a NASCAR driver because he was the stud for years and years.
For
and
sure.
years, without a doubt.
One of the weirdest careers because, and I'm going to get this wrong, and this is just memory based. I don't think he was all that great nationwide. He was at Herzog Motorsports. I don't think he was great. I don't think he won a nationwide championship. I don't think he was great. And then comes up to NASCAR and dominates.
Dominated. I mean, he killed it.
It was insane. I mean,
Yeah.
like to the point of, and I always like watching the good teams. I mean, I like when the Patriots go on a run. I like Alabama and watching them win football games. I like a dynasty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're fun to watch but he made it boring because you just assumed he was going to win every week.
Yeah, I did
mean,
assume he was going to win.
It was crazy. Like you didn't feel like you had a shot.
Yeah.
You know, it was nuts watching.
I mean,
that.
I even played. I know this is going to be a shocker to everybody that listens and you sitting across from him, but
Yeah.
I used to play fantasy NASCAR,
Okay.
and Jimmy was my lock-in every week. He
I
was
mean-
my lock-in driver, number one driver
Has
every
to
week,
be. Has to be.
probably for 10 years.
And I think he's getting into something else. I don't know that he may be the owner. I saw that he posted something. It was a dirt track car. And so he may be going to like Tony
the
Stewart. thing. I don't know if
SRX
he's
racing?
driving though. It was him and another NASCAR driver and said, look what we're into next. And it had somebody else's name on it though. So I don't know if he's going to be the owner or if he's going to, I don't know how that's going to work.
I'm kind of hoping AJ Dinglinger goes to SRX so he can just say I'm putting my Dinglinger in the dirt. But you never know. So
well,
we'll
we
see
are
what
keeping
happens.
it family friendly here.
That was totally family
It's,
friendly.
it's totally family.
It was
friendly.
his last name.
It's not as good as what's next coming up next. Okay, what do we got next?
So
Because there's nothing better than a Goodwood revival.
Revival. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Goodwood Revival is at the Goodwood Racing Circuit.
How many times can we say Goodwood in a minute?
I'm just saying it's in West Sussex, England, which if you don't know is in Southeast England.
If you ever
And
need some
before you try
Goodwood,
do you ever?
I think of SX UK
Yeah. If you are going to try to,
Sussex.
sharpshoot me on the location like you normally do with other stuff,
the location
I'd
of
like
what?
to of West Sussex,
Oh,
England.
okay.
It's actually in Chichester, but north of there is Surrey. If you're from the UK, and you guys
Shout
obviously
out.
know where Surrey is, and Hampshire to the
Maddie,
west,
if you're listening,
and East Sussex to the east of West Sussex. So
and all of this to explain where the Goodwood revival is.
anyway, it is a phenomenal. Oh, also, if you're a Gran Turismo 7 owner, Goodwood's available to race on there. It's a cool track, very fast. There's really only a couple of braking. They're not even hard braking spots, but it's a good circuit. He's over here losing it for no reason because he's like 8 years old or 12 or whatever.
I love going places where Goodwood's available.
Anyway, so a few months ago, we had the Goodwood Festival of Speed. We had oh my God, dude, grow up. Wow.
Bonk.
Puberty. Have you looked into it? Anyway, we had the Festival of Speed there a few months ago, which very different type of situation. But the revival that they have at the Goodwood Circuit it's a unique
I
event
got Jay
because
now.
it's a unique event because people dress in period attire. So there you see people there in the 40s and 50s, 60s attire, which is kind of cool. They got the old school racing overalls on. But what struck me the most is you think these guys are coming out there with 1960s era Ferrari 250s and Jimmy Johnson.
I was just to say, you told me about
Was
Jimmy
there
Johnson.
in the 63 Shelby Cobra,
How much was that car?
probably a $20 million car. So here's my thing. I'm thinking, okay, when this thing first started, the first race comes up, I'm like, okay, these guys aren't actually really racing. They're just going to drive out there on the track and get some speed. And they're probably talking to each other. Dude, they were hard at it racing.
Really?
Yeah, it was
I'm
like,
gonna have to watch. You sent me the video. I've got to watch it.
yeah, it was no different than watching F1 or not. These guys were hard. They were putting each other off the road. Jimmy Johnson spun out and almost went into the wall. And
in
I'm
a
sitting
$20
there-
million car.
Yeah, and
I
I'm-
mean, can you imagine
Yeah,
how,
no,
how
I
clinched
can't.
you have to be?
Here's my thing too. I'm betting Jimmy Johnson probably owned his car, but there was probably a lot of guys out there driving for somebody else that owned the car.
Well, it's kind of like when Leclerc wrecked at Monaco. I mean, that
Yes.
wasn't his car.
No, it's not his car.
That's a $1 million car or
Yeah.
whatever it was worth. I
It
mean,
was a museum piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
priceless car.
Yeah.
And he takes it out there and wrecks it.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
anyway, seeing a bunch of, all those old cars out there running around the track together, it was pretty good. There was some old Caterhams in there and a couple of Roadsters and there was a Boxster race. There was a lot. There was a Mini Cooper race, which was phenomenal to watch. So, it's one of those things, and I know you jump on me for getting on to really weird forms of racing. I don't consider that weird. It was seeing classic cars, especially when you're in your late 40s. It was fun to watch.
that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
cool.
make sure you go on YouTube and just search Goodwood Revival 2022 and watch some of the videos on it. Some of them are 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay, so this next one, Lando Norris to Red Bull,
okay.
and then you put the word validity. So
Let
I would
me-
really like to know how this is.
let me paint this picture. For
You can't use my lines.
Let me set the scene for you, Chad.
He got that deep Eric Farmer voice.
Anyway, here's my thing. So Lando Norris, on record, 3 or 4 times this week from different sources, extolling the praises of Max Verstappen to the tune of, yeah, he's the best driver we've ever seen, ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I have nothing but respect for Max. He is so fast that, I hope one day I can get there. Phrases like that. And it makes me wonder if he's politicking for a seat at Red Bull.
Okay.
And you couple that with Checo, and I realize I'm starting crap right now.
I mean, you're tinfoil.
Yeah,
I really
not
think
exactly
you're reaching.
tinfoil, but I really think he's shopping for a seat at Red Bull. I think that's a horrible idea having those two because they're both egomaniacs.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Max is head and shoulders ahead of him.
That's,
So Lando can be the biggest egomaniac in
is
the
he
world.
though?
You don't think Max is head and shoulders above a Lando?
No, I think Max's car is head and shoulders above Lando's.
I mean, I agree with that too. And maybe I'm crazy.
And
I
here's
don't know.
another thing: we don't know. We don't know. And trust me, nobody wants to say that Lando is overrated more than I do.
Yeah.
So understand the gravity of what I'm saying when I say we don't know. We've really never seen him in a top tier car.
Okay. Well, I'll give you that. I don't know.
Look what happened to George Russell when they put him in a top tier car.
Agreed.
He went
Agreed.
from 19th and 20th to the podium
But
every week.
I mean, I don't think George Russell's as good as Max Verstappen.
I don't either.
And I don't think Leclerc's as good as Max. And at one time this year, I thought Leclerc may be the most talented driver in F1. I don't now. I think now. I think.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, because at the very beginning of the year, I said if Max figures out how to calm himself down and not make the crazy aggressive error,
Yeah.
and that's what he's done. I
And
think he
see-
is a more well-rounded driver this year.
Max's problem is what you just said when he does have it, which has been very, very rare this year. Leclerc's problem is self-confidence.
Okay.
I think they're both just as talented,
Yeah.
but whereas Max's weakness is his aggressiveness, which sometimes helps him, I think Leclerc gets down on himself and he settles.
He just runs laps.
Yeah. And I hate to say that. And Charles, if you're listening, man, listen. Got nothing but love for you, buddy, but you got to step up. And I know you're 90% of it's your team. It's not even you.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard. It's
Yeah.
no different than a quarterback whose line can't protect him. You start getting gun shy.
Yeah.
When you think your guys are making the wrong call, even if they make the right call, you're second guessing it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know that it's the right call. Anyway, we got the Lando Norris, but I don't know. I mean, so what do you think? Is Checo locked in for next year?
Yeah, he is so far.
Okay.
But we also know how
Yeah.
flimsy F1
Yeah.
contracts are.
Yeah, F1 contracts are
So,
not.
and I
not
didn't
great.
read this anywhere. This is literally just me seeing a lot of Lando.
You're just trying to
comments
read
about
the tea
Max.
leaves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I had on that.
Okay. We're moving into GT World Championship. Heat?
This is
Electric?
just going to do a news bullet on it. It's GT World Challenge Europe and GT4 Europe. They're at their
Oh.
final They're at their final race this weekend in Barcelona, and this is, remember last week we had the sprint championship or
Okay.
sprint final. This is the endurance final. It's a 3-hour race. Obviously, there'll be a driver change. It's a 49-car field.
Golly, that's a lot of cars.
That's a lot
of
cars. But the only two it's really coming down to is a Codis ASP in their Mercedes and the Iron Lynx guys in their Ferraris. That's who it's between
Now,
as far as the championship goes.
Is this the one? Is this the series the Iron Dames race in, right?
They are, but they're like a subdivision of the Iron Lynx.
Yeah, that's what made me think of
Yeah,
it.
so-
So are they racing this?
I don't know. I didn't look at the full entry
Okay.
list this weekend. At this point, with only one race to go, I'm looking at the top 5 teams.
Yeah,
That
well, that makes sense.
are,
I think
so-
that what I'm asking is, are the Iron Dames, since they're a sub team of that, are they like AlphaTauri, or are they like, can they compete for a
I
championship?
don't want to say that because I don't know, and I don't want those girls mad at me because
I mean, I'm
I don't
legitimately
even think
asking.
they're
I
a
have no idea.
subdivision. I think they're more of a lateral team. I think there's the Iron Lynx and then there's the Iron.
So they
Dames.
can race the championship just like
Yeah,
anybody else can.
yeah,
They're just not in it
absolutely.
this year.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I mean, I had wondered that when we were doing that, but it's so that form of racing, instead of being like these teams are the team, it's like this
Yeah.
team and then that team and this team is part of that team. And I just want to make sure I understand kind of what's going forward.
It's just kind of weird too, as we're getting through, we're exploring this first year doing our podcast,
Yeah.
and we're kind of building up, at least internally. I know a lot of those teams haven't really reached out to us, but internally we're kind of building up our favorites,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I definitely will be following the Iron Dames next year, but I'm obviously going to be rooting for Iron Lynx this weekend. I hope they need a really solid, convincing win here. Because Codis ASP, I'm pretty sure they are in first place. So that's Rafael Marchiello and those guys. So anyway, looking forward to that race this weekend. It's used to be not one of my favorite tracks, which was Spain.
Now you love it.
Yeah, I do. I've overcome my curse there.
Yep.
So
All right.
podiums and back markers, buddy.
I mean, we haven't used this dadgum thing in so long. I don't
Yeah.
even know what button.
Where's
it
the
is.
music? Oh, there
It is.
Ah, where's the champagne, man?
I may have
You
some. All
shake
right.
it up.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? This goober.
Anyway, you can go first since you are first on here.
Okay. So I took out, if people don't know, I usually paint a picture right about now.
Yeah.
But Jay gave me an impossible task this week. It took me back to 80s. Let me paint a picture for you, Jay.
Oh, wow. please
80s
don't.
Miami, Don Johnson coat.
Snowing in the summer.
Snowing in the summertime. It's kind of where Jay led me down, and I didn't think that was going to be appropriate for ESPN Paris 105.1. So I decided to go with a more PG version of our podiums
Okay.
and back marker. And really, I didn't even have any podiums. I kind of came up with these on just quickly. Number one, I love that we're going to Singapore. Love that track.
I do
It's
too.
really weird that I like that track because it's so technical, but I love that track. Number two, Hugo Car Show is in a couple of weeks. We're going to be out there live. I hear Jay may get the keys to the Facebook page for ESPN Paris 105.1. That's breaking news that Jay didn't even know about. He may get to go out there and be the administrator on that and go out and interview some people for the Facebook page. So that'll be fun. And then number three on my podium is Jay. And the reason is, you guys can't see this, but this dude puts in so much work on our rundown. This thing is 5 pages long, full of notes that you guys some of it you don't ever hear. It's just for us. And the information and the time that he puts into this is pretty legit. So Jay, you're my podium buddy.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. All right, your turn.
And
You're
for
up.
the record, if you are a subscribing person or a patron of the Fuel Pod, you do get access to these
There you
notes
go.
because we share it with anybody that is. Mikey gets it. I know Bobby's getting it too.
Yep.
I sent it to
If you're
Bobby
on the
this week.
Discord, you can probably get it. You can
Yeah.
ask for it. You'll get a rundown. You can give us some news and notes on there.
All right, so my first podium person is Kylie Rovanpera. So has a chance to clinch the rally this weekend in New Zealand, and if he's going to do it, man, he's had such a convincing season, and it's good to see him out there. He's not my favorite driver, but I'll be cheering him on. So anyway, my second one is also Singapore. It's our first time back in 3 years. This is a great race for fans, but it is brutal on the drivers. So one thing I want to tell you is that when you're watching it, enjoy the race, but really give a thought to these drivers. They are in these cars. They've got headaches. They are sweating profusely. They are losing weight. They are driving hard, and plus they've got to concentrate on racing.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to it this weekend and seeing what happens there. And last but not least, they didn't win it, but Flying Lizard Motorsports and B Sport Racing in the Aston Martins this weekend. Excellent showing. Wish you guys would have done better, at least Flying Lizard on that last pit stop, or on that, well, I guess it was your first pit stop, but really that gap increased too bad. But you made a decent showing, and I was really happy as an Aston Martin fan. So thank you very much for that.
All right. So just quickly, if you watch the Singapore race, just take notice to how many turns there are. And he was talking about how hard it is on the drivers. Racing that thing virtually is exhausting.
Yeah, my
And
hands, I can't even move my hands when we're done.
And we don't even race like the full race. We race half of it.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, it is every turn has to be thought out, because you cut it too short, cut it a little too wide. I mean, you're hitting the wall. If you don't brake too soon, you're hitting the wall on the other side. I mean, it is an extremely difficult
Your
track.
tires are worn out. Your fuel load's so light that the car is just floating around the turns.
It's tough. It is a really, really, really tough track to race virtually. I can't imagine doing it in real life. So I only have one back marker, and it's me, because it's been well north of a month since we've done our F1 career. I know we were starting to get some Twitch subscribers. We were starting to get some I don't know what the right word is right there, but we were starting to get some buy-in on our Twitch community and watching us race and talking to us and we trying to build that community. And then Madden came out and craziness ensued, and I have not been on in a month. It's my fault. Jay has asked me multiple times, "Hey, are we going to race tonight?" And I'm like, I can't tonight, man. So my vow is to do better. Hopefully we'll race tonight. We'll see what happens. Anyway, go ahead.
So by the way, I put a Twitch stream up of the Daytona road course.
Oh, cool.
In GT3 cars where I'm running my Aston Martin. So that's available on my Twitch. Back markers. My first one is betting for Max Verstappen at Singapore will cost you money this weekend. So for every $2 you bet, you're going to win $1.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
He's the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
I mean, that's
folks.
pretty bad. You're going to lose money to bet on Max Verstappen. It is 4-1 on Leclerc though, so throw him out there. I'm actually thinking about throwing some money out there on Leclerc this weekend.
Okay. I might too.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
I'll tell you where I'm going for it, because they're giving 100%. If you're new, they're giving 100% match on your first bet.
Okay, no free ads. Tell me off the air. Maybe we can get them to start sponsoring the show.
So Elvin Evans, I say it every time. Elvin Evans.
I thought that was his name.
Is my second back marker. Man, the kid just simply ran out of. We talk about it when we F1 race that there's just not enough laps left for me to catch up.
That's the worst feeling too.
So here's a kid that came on late in the season. Came on good late. So he's just going to run out of rallies, and I thought he had at least an admirable shot at second, but I think he'll finish third. I hope he takes out Thierry Neuville, which is sad because I like Neuville as well.
Yeah, it's okay.
But anyway, and then the stress level caused by hoping that Ferrari has a good weekend this weekend. I need them to have a good weekend this weekend. I think it's fair to say that I've been harder on them than any of the people that have been talking trash to me for the entire season so far. There's nobody harder on them than I am.
Yep.
But I need them to have a good week. I want to see something good happen. And I need to have it happen legitimately. I don't want Max Verstappen to go into the wall. I don't want turn one carnage where Leclerc escapes and Max Verstappen hits the wall and he's out of the race. He needs to win this thing fair and square.
We really still haven't gotten that.
No.
All year.
We've gotten close a couple times, but not legitimately lap for lap, beginning to end. Pit strategy involved.
Yep.
Where Ferrari has a good pit strategy, and they race.
Yeah, we have not got those two 1-2 racing each other.
Not like last year, where it was
every race.
It was
one of the best seasons ever.
Like gripping your seat when Verstappen and Hamilton were together. It
was awesome.
Race. Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was must-watch TV for sure.
I mean, even going into this season, I didn't think this was going to be the Ferrari year. I thought this was going to be the year where Max Verstappen does his little victory lap tour for this year, and then next year. But, they started out solid and Red Bull didn't. And I thought, okay, well,
maybe this is the year.
Maybe this is the year. And I'm just wrong because I'm wrong a lot. But it's obviously not. I think it's out of reach. I agree with most of the press that Max, if he doesn't do it this weekend, and I don't think he's going to do it this weekend because you're asking for Leclerc to come in 8th or 9th.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
No, I don't either, unless he just has a wreck or something. But I think it's going to happen at Japan.
Okay. I think these next 5 races are extremely important for Ferrari.
Yeah.
I think they're more important for Ferrari than they are for Red Bull. They need to prove that they can run with Red Bull.
Yeah.
Going into next year.
Absolutely.
I think exactly what you said earlier. Leclerc needs some confidence. I don't know that Leclerc knows that he can beat Max head up. You know, if they both have a clean race, start to finish, I don't know if Leclerc knows he can beat him.
Well,
And I think he needs to do that going into next year so he's not second guessing.
And here's my thing. If that's correct, then he doesn't deserve to win. I know that's an old school 80s coach mentality. If you don't think you're the best, then you're not.
I think I can think I'm the best.
Yeah.
But every week I go out and my team makes back calls or my car breaks or something doesn't go my way. A caution doesn't fall right. I don't care if you're the best or not. It gets in your head.
Yeah, it does.
And
you get the yips.
I think he needs to get through being the yips and he needs to gain the confidence in his team and his crew and his car to know that he can make it. But anyway, so we're drawing to the end here. Jay, where can they find us on social media?
Well, on Twitter, I am JNeil729.
I'm Chad H610.
And on Twitch, I am GMJ729.
I'm still Chad H610.
Okay.
And then pod_fuel. We don't do a very good job promoting that. We usually just put it out from our personals, but Chad, pod_fuel. That's for the most part where we'll put stuff, and I'm going to start sharing it to there. On Discord, Fuel Pod.
Fuel Pod.
If you want to sponsor the show, I used to say email us. I really think direct messages on Twitter would be the best way to get a hold of us, or Discord.
Absolutely.
Who checks the email anymore, right?
Right.
If you're listening on ESPN Paris 105.1, thank you for following along on this beautiful Saturday morning. If you want to know what we're talking about, we give each other hard times and all our little inside jokes, go to wherever you listen to podcasts for the most part and subscribe to the show, download it, do automatic downloads, follow the show, go back and listen. Y'all going to make me lose my mind. I don't know why. That's our number 1 episode now. It has overtaken the top episode.
Wow.
So I don't even remember what that one's about. But if you're going to pick one to listen to, apparently that's the best one to pick. That was mid-season. I don't know. I don't know why that's number 1. But for whatever reason out there in listener land, if you guys want to check us out on a different one than this one, y'all going to make me lose my mind. It's a good one. So, all right. Next week, we'll be talking about Singapore. And we're 1 week closer to the Hugo Car Show. Woohoo! Thank you guys for following along.
Thank you.